Hi. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Um, so, as the title says, I am going to be talking about Shokugeki no Soma, but especially Soma and Erina again. So this is my probably second part of this series, since there's only one previous one, and I don't know how many, if any, others there will be. Um, so basically, a new chapter came out, and I don't know whether to start with that or to go back because I haven't talked about like the end of the like Azami stuff, which ended very kind of abruptly, even though it went on for so long. Well, all right. Let's start a little bit with that. So I'm not gonna go really into it, but it was interesting to me. Um, it was not a good arc. Or arcs, I guess, because I guess there were multiple in there. Um, I guess for my part, as far as like the actual plot goes, it just, as I said, it kind of ended abruptly. Like Azami just kind of lost and left, and there was no closure. There didn't feel like there was any closure. I mean, there was Erina mentally saying goodbye to him, kind of, but that kind of felt weird too because he was abusive to her, and it was just very. It felt like there should have been something else. Like we should have heard something from Azami, rather than him just like, forcibly like be having to admit, even though he didn't say anything, but the whole bestowing thing where he had now the Nakiri thing where he strips, but he doesn't strip himself. He strips everybody else. Actually, he stripped too, didn't he? But everybody was stripped. It was really really funny. Or did he strip? I can't remember. But everybody around him stripped, and that's how you knew he really liked it. The food that Erina made, which I think was like a donburi, like father-child donburi or something like that. So, um, but the Erina and Soma stuff. So, um, I feel like most people knew that it was going to end with Soma and Erina versus Ishii and Rindo. I feel like everybody realized that a long time ago that it would be them two versus those two, and realistically, Soma and Erina shouldn't have won because obviously they're the top two in the school, and that's why everybody thought, or I think most people thought, I certainly did, that the only way they could win is if their teamwork was superior. But no, they didn't. I mean, they kind of did play that, but they also, Soma made such a big point of saying that they can't work together, like that's not their thing. Teamwork isn't their thing. So he ended up making their Shokugeki, or well, their match against Aishi and Rindo. He made it a Shokugeki between himself and Erina because I mean it was really funny. I liked all that stuff, obviously. The Erina and Soma fighting over who was going to make the main dish and who was going to make, I guess, like the appetizer. And Soma was not giving in at all. He's just like, no, I can make the better, main course dish. And Erina obviously wouldn't give in either. They were both very stubborn, and it ended up coming down to a rock paper scissors, and Soma was so upset he lost. He was like, why did I pick scissors? It was funny. It was really funny. And it shows that how alike they actually are in a lot of things, certainly, and how stubborn they are. And it was hilarious. And so Soma had no choice. He had to make the appetizer. And they had, thankfully, I was like, okay, so they didn't decide until that very moment who was going to do what. How do they know what they're going to make? But they did show a flashback to Erina and Soma again arguing, and Erina storming off, and Soma being annoyed because neither of them would give in, um, and I like that. I like that Erina and Soma don't kind of back down from each other. Like everything's a fight, everything's a competition, and one isn't going to give in to the other. They don't care. It's just funny. It's because Erina, even though this is a shonen, Erina is one of the heroines. She's actually quite strong, as we saw in this very arc. And I just didn't realize how strong they were going to make her. Yeah, so she had planned a course for them to make. Should she be the one to make the main course? And I'm sure they planned a course in case Soma was the one to make it. So, yeah, they were supposed to follow her directions and her instructions and what they had planned in this case, and Soma was not having any of it because he tasted Ishi's stuff, and he's like, "There's no way." That's what he was thinking. He's like, "There's no way this is going to win. This is going to beat them. Nothing that Erina had planned is going to get us this win." So he started making changes to the thing he was supposed to make, and he kept asking Erina to taste it all along the way. And Erina, I like the part where she was saying, "Oh, I should be praising him because he keeps asking me for my opinion, and that's a good thing. But I can tell he's making changes, small changes. He's making changes along the way, and that's irritating." Like, she sees it, she tastes the differences, and she's just like, "No, he's totally doing something I didn't want him to do. What is he up to?" And it's just so funny. So yeah, she wanted to praise him, but she's like, "No, he's being evil." So it was really, yeah. And yeah, he basically made such a main course of a appetizer that it just didn't. People were like, "This doesn't go, because what can you possibly make after this, following this as the main course, that's going to feel like a main course after such a huge dish?" And her dad Azami gave him like 0 points because even though it was delicious, it didn't fit the theme of like an appetizer and then a main course. It just didn't go. And that's when Soma was like, "I'm doing this as this is a Shokugeki. You say you can make a better dish than I can for the main course. Prove it. I just made something, and let's see if you can top it." And I really like that. And he goes, because that's another thing. He's like, what suits us best is this competition. You know, a Shokugeki between you and me. We don't do teamwork. We do this. And I like that a lot because it still ended up being teamwork. I mean, that's how they won. They won because they worked together better by pushing each other ahead and you know, pushing each other to greater heights. And the only way Soma even made the dish that he did, because he wanted to make his other signature dishes that has won him, you know, won him competitions in the past. And he combined them kind of in a way, I think, with the help of Erina and her tongue, her god tongue. So, yeah, I mean, if he didn't have her, he couldn't have made that dish, because it was her tasting it constantly that made it what it was. And same with what Erina ended up making. She basically took every page out of Soma's book, from down to the peanut butter squid, to make her dish. And she wouldn't. And oh my god, I forgot one of my favorite parts when Soma said, "This is more like us," you know, like the competition, like we don't do teamwork. And she realized what he was doing and what he was saying, and she was just like, idiot. But she said it in such an affectionate way, with that look on her face and the smile, and I think she was blushing a little, and it was just so cute. It was so cute, because it wasn't meant as like an insult. It was just meant as in, "Oh, you, oh, jeez, oh," but it was cute. It was really cute, and I liked that a lot. And yeah, she got down to business with like 10 minutes left. She switched up her dish and made something that was like, again, it had a combination of things that were Soma, and she actually did think about like how, you know, she couldn't do this without him. Like, she wouldn't be able to be who she is right now and changed as much as she had if she had never met Soma. So I think like Azami even like said like this was this reminded him kind of like Joe's cooking and stuff like, and that makes sense because it's like Yukihira style cooking, and she just came up with it on the fly, and well, she didn't. I think a lot of people call bullshit on that because they're like, how could she have had 10 minutes and she you know she only had 10 minutes and she beat them with a dish she made up in 10 minutes, but she didn't. That's the thing. They had a plan. They both had a plan, and it wasn't something that just happened in 10 minutes. She just basically altered what she was already making and made it better. And she could do that because she's got tongue. So it's like, she did it, and that's fine. I mean, there is some bullshit there, but it's whatever. It's all for the ship. It's fine. No, it's not. I mean, it would be better if the plot was like much better, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, maybe you can't have both. I don't know. Maybe not in this manga. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, they won, and Azami just kind of went away. But what I really liked, because I didn't like that, but what I really liked, I liked that they won. I just don't know if I like the way they won. But yeah, Erina and Soma, when the thing ended and they actually won, um, Erina and Soma were fighting at the end, which was great because Erina's like, I cannot believe you did that to me. I can't believe you just changed everything at the last minute without telling me. And she was pulling at his face. He was like that. And she was holding on to her. And it was great because that was art. A fan artist drew art just like that of Soma and Erina. And literally maybe, I don't even know how much earlier, it wasn't that much earlier that she drew it, that then ended up in the manga. I am convinced, no one can possibly convince me otherwise, that the artist and author did not see that art and put it into the manga, which is amazing. Like, fan art becoming canon is always a nice feeling. So, yeah, that was really cute. And again, I like that Erina isn't somebody who, like, she still maintained her strength and her disposition, even though she's kind of thawed as far as where she was in the beginning, what she is now. There's still elements of her, like she's still a very strong character, but she's not. She doesn't give in to Soma at all. Like she had no choice here, but she kind of brought it when he challenged her, and she basically she won. She won against Soma too. Like they didn't have a straight out Shokugeki, but what they did have was Erina proving she could make the better dish than he could, and that she took things that he's never really made delicious, like the peanut butter and squid, and somehow managed to put them in a dish and make them delicious. So, and Soma recognized that she is better than him, grudgingly so, but he sees that. And this is the part where things. But I mean, I just want to say that I just like that the physical contact they had in that scene with the pulling of the face and him trying to stop her was really funny. And I didn't expect that kind of dynamic from them ever, because Erina doesn't seem like that kind of person who would like pull at someone's face, let alone Soma's. I feel like I always expected her to be kind of blushy and embarrassed about like anything to do with that. I guess physical contact, or so they kind of held hands already because someone was holding Erina's hands, except at the wrist, trying to stop her from causing him pain. And yeah, I just like it because she was kind of dominating that situation. And oh, that was the other thing I liked. Okay, I remembered. Okay, so Soma said, when she was like complaining about all that and pulling at his face, like, I can't believe you didn't tell me, and he's like, well, what's the big deal? I did it because I knew you could pull it off, Nakiri. And she was just like all blushy then, and she was like, because he's showing such faith in her, and that was a really nice thing to say, even though the way he said it maybe didn't sound as nice. It was what he was meaning by it that was really, really nice, and a huge compliment to Erina that he just had faith that she could do it, and that's why he did it. And she was like, oh, and she just like didn't know exactly what to say to that. She was like, well, course, naturally, I could do it. So it was, she couldn't say anything against it because he complimented her, kind of. So definitely, actually, and that was really cute too, that he had such faith in Erina and her abilities, even though he kept saying, "I'm better than you." Yeah, he wasn't. Of course, he can't yet be. He will someday, but not now. And I like that. I like that she's so strong because you don't really see that in shonen often. That here's the the male character and he sees the female character as like a rival, as a goal, as someone to beat, as one of the ultimate people to beat, and that she is genuinely really strong and stronger than him for quite a chunk of the manga. That's interesting. That's different. That's one of the things I do like about the plot here. But yeah, when they won, then it became a matter of who's going to get the new Elite 10 seats. And this is where everything kind of became even more like that. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this development at all. This might not be good. So yeah, Erina nominated Soma for the first seat. She was the MVP of this. He couldn't have happened. They couldn't have won, in her opinion, without Soma and how he pushed everybody. So, and I guess I agree, but it doesn't make any sense in terms of the story because you don't really want your main character to already have reached one of his main goals at 250 plus chapters into the series. I don't know how long the series is going to go on, but that was weird. And then it became a matter of, well, where's Erina going to go then? Because she's better than Soma, but she's not going to be the first seat. Is Soma going to be the first seat? Really? Okay, he's got that already. All right. So yeah, I was not happy. And then Erina got the headmistress position because her grandfather wanted to retire. I don't like this for several reasons. For one, her grandfather said that he wants to retire because he wants to relax. He doesn't, the position is basically stressful and he doesn't want to do it anymore. So why would you take your granddaughter, who's barely like 16 years old and who already has a lot on her plate, literally, figuratively, to put all that on her because they made her the new headmistress because Soma nominated her because he's like, well, if I'm the first seat and you're better than me, you have to be in a position higher than I am, as much as I don't like that admitting that you are better than me, you are. So you should be the headmistress, plus it's a Nakiri thing, like who else should get it? Obviously, then you should get it. And so she obviously took it, but it just felt like she's a kid. She shouldn't be headmistress of anything. Not because she can't do it. This is manga, but because and she's been basically preparing for responsibility her whole life. But that's the point. Instead of finally being done with this, and now that she's different, being able to live like a more fun life because she's got all these new friends and she could be a more normal girl and socialize and just not have some of the pressure and enjoy having a little freedom now. They instead put all of this pressure onto her, and her grandfather just dumped the position on her, and that sucks. Like, I get it. I get what the manga is doing. I get what's happening, but realistically, it just seems kind of, effed up. It's just, like, not nice to Erina at all. Which, yeah, it's manga, and no one took it that way, so. So, yeah, that was the end of that arc, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, that was, not bad, but there was no romance. There was no romance yet. There was no romance from Erina's side. I mean, there was cute stuff. She blushed. She, realized what a big impact Soma was on her life. She sees him as an important person in her change. And we got all that other cute stuff. But it still was not romantic. Like, Erina did not have feelings for Soma, and Soma did not have feelings for Erina. So when that ended and there was still none of that, I was just kind of like, okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, we've been taking it very slow as far as the romantic development goes since the very beginning, so I'm not shocked that we still don't have feelings from Erina towards Soma. And I know we're not going to have feelings from Soma for a very long time, or at least it seemed that way. And finally, I come to talking about the current chapters. So, I can't. It's so funny. It's so funny because when the new character, what's his name? Asahi, I think? When he was introduced, I thought, jokingly so, that it could go the way that it's going right now, but it actually went there. It like feels like fan fiction, like straight up fan fiction. Like somebody would just want to do romance arc, and they were trying to push Soma as feelings ahead, and they decided to just do this because ha ha ha, evil brother from nowhere pops in and wants to take your girl away. And it's like, what is actually happening with that? So, okay, first of all, I'm very happy that he's not actually Soma's brother. I was hoping that would be the case, because if he was actually related, to me, that would have undermined the whole cooking for someone thing that Joe was spouting off at the very beginning, because he found someone to cook for and then cheated on her. What? or he found someone else first and had a baby with her, and then found this other person that he wanted to cook for. I don't understand. Even so, I was like, my dad. It's not surprising if he has an illegitimate child somewhere. Like, dad, whatever. Like, someone's way too chill about some things. He needs to stop. He's so weird. But yeah, he just this guy. Okay, so I don't know anyone who likes this. So the new dude, so Joe's other son, who's not actually his son, thank God. He beat Joe in a Shokugeki. I think it was said 5-0 even, and Joe was all slumped on the floor, and he looked really dramatic, and I didn't like that at all. So Joe was supposed to be Soma's ultimate goal, beating his dad, and I put that above everything else. So for some dude who we've never met before, who's also knows Saiba, or Joe, in this case, because this new guy is calling himself Saiba, to beat him so easily, so decidedly, is terrible, because you've just ruined your ultimate goal. No one should have beat him until Soma did, because it just makes him look weak now. It's like, what if Soma beats this new guy, or doesn't beat the new guy? He beats nobody. He doesn't beat him, and then does he have to then beat his? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't beat him, but he beats his dad. But this guy's better than his dad, so it's like, is he the new goal? Like, I don't understand. It was wrong. You should never have had anyone beat Joe. I guess they wanted to make it very, very, very dramatic, and make it seem like Soma is, he has a real threat on his hands. But I didn't like any of this. Like, and supposedly he's like this leader of the like midnight chefs or whatever, and they're doing shokugekis that are only Tutsuki stuff to do, their tradition, and they're kind of like bastardizing it or whatever, and that's why sent Soma and Megumi and everybody else out to go find these guys who are doing this stuff, and it just all seemed really silly. I don't know why we jumped into such a plot after all the seriousness of the last one. Like, why couldn't we have a little bit of a break? It just feels so unnecessarily overly dramatic, as usual. Just like the Azami stuff all felt unnecessarily overly dramatic. Like, I just don't understand why we couldn't have a little bit of a break and have some comfy moments, some regular school life, especially now that, I forgot to say that, they're now in their second year. They're senpais to people now. They've taken over the Elite 10, basically. But yeah, this new guy, dude, I can't, because he comes into Tsutsuki, he's going after Soma because I guess now that he beat the dad, he wants to beat the son, the actual son of his mentor, and I just think it's dumb. I mean, you already beat the dad's better than the son, why do you care to beat Soma? I guess this show that I'm more so a son than even the real son, I'm better than him too, but that's just, how old is he even? I don't even know how old he is, because he's an instructor now. He came in to kind of do lectures and stuff, and does no one background check these people? Who is he exactly? And yeah, so basically in this chapter, he's messing around. He's being very lighthearted and kind of weird, as Soma say. What's with this guy? And he wants to challenge Soma. And Erina gets a visit from Dojima, and he tells her what the deal is with this kid, and is that he is, as I said, he was mentored by Joe. Joe treated him like his other son. He's actually from America, and I think this took place like 10 years ago. And now he's coming here. He might already be here, indeed. And he's after Soma, and Erina's like, holy crap, I have to go, find Soma, because if he's already, maybe already ran into him, because she was calling him. They have each other's phone numbers. Well, I mean, that makes sense, because she's the headmistress and he's the, first seat of the Elite 10, but it's still cute. So she's calling him, he's not picking up because he's distracted by this dude, and then the dude starts spouting a lot of weird things, that he wants to basically challenge the first seat, because so he could show he's better than the first seat, because the first seat obviously is going to be somebody who's makes a big dent on the cooking world, I guess, and Soma liked that. He was all blushy. But before all this, the chapter before this, basically, that's the important thing. That's the important thing as far as Soma's concerned. Okay, this is, as far as Soma's concerned, what he needed for a long time now was to hear that advice that his dad tried to give him at the very beginning of the manga, which was find someone, a woman, you want to give all your cooking to, or to cook all your food for, and, find that special someone, romance, wee! So he needed to hear that, and he hasn't yet, and now here comes this dude who knows that advice because of Joe, who obviously told him as well, and he flat out tells Soma, just very casually, just throws it out there. It was kind of weird. You'd think it would be like a bigger moment, but it just felt like almost a throwaway. So, but now Soma heard it. He heard it now. That's good. And I don't think he really reacted to that piece of advice. Again, it felt like a throwaway. But he did hear it. That's the important thing. That's very important. And the second thing he did was ask Soma first, actually. I think he asked it first. He's like, do you have a girlfriend? And he's just kind of like, blushy, which is good, because we don't usually get a blushy Soma, which shows that he is uncomfortable. He even says it, basically. He's like, no, I think I'm not ready for any of that stuff yet. It's kind of, complicated and weird. So he doesn't, he's not into the whole romance thing as of right now, because it kind of makes him all uncomfortable. So, but that's good, we want that, we want this introduction of these elements into Soma's life, because if we don't have anything to trigger it, or for him to because now he can consider them, he could consider those things in the future. So yes, those things were very important. As far as this arc goes, those things will be important for Soma, not necessarily in this arc, more so in general, down the line, we needed them to be introduced to him. So, yeah, let's put that aside for a second, and now there's Asahi and his whole plan. Again, he wants to beat Soma. He thinks that he is going to be, important in the cooking world because he's the first seed of Tutsuki, and he just wants to beat him to show that he's better than him. And Soma kind of liked the idea of, he's going to be important in the cooking world, and he was all blushy because of that. He's like, yeah, I like that. That's probably true. He's took that as a compliment. And, but then Asahi goes, well, there's that. And then I wanted to find the person who's on top of the woman who's on top of the cooking world. And you could say that, that's debatable, but in my opinion, that would be Erina Nakiri, or Nakiri Erina. And because she's the headmistress of Tutsuki, and he wants to, and she's the god's tongue, and he wants to basically take her, and this is the part that's straight out of fanfiction, take her as his wife. He wants to marry Erina, even though she's still just a student, and I don't know how old this dude is, but anyways, he wants to marry Erina, and also devote all of his cooking to her. And this is the parts that start really irritating Soma, because he's saying basically he's the only one who could please her, only her food, his food could satisfy her, and Soma's not having any of this. He's getting mad. And Soma doesn't get mad often, like things rarely actually bother him, but this wasn't a serious mad, because I've seen him be seriously mad, and the only time he was really seriously mad was when Shinomiya beat them. When he got beaten, he felt angry and very frustrated. It's not that kind of mad, but it's like irritated. It's like, oh, this guy's annoying me. So you had the mark on his head where he's like the angry symbol. But yeah, let me actually even go to the thing, to the chapter and read it. This part, just so that I have everything right, since it just came out not that long ago. And everything is taking forever to load. That's awesome. Alright, I don't know why it's doing that, but it's taking a long time and nothing is moving. So I'm gonna not do this after all, since it's not working, and that's cool. I don't know why. Alright, forget it. So basically, the whole deal... Yeah, it didn't load. I don't know, maybe my internet's dropped. So basically the deal is that Soma does not want this guy to be saying this bullshit in his opinion of, that only he can satisfy Erina, and, he's gonna take Erina as his wife, and he starts saying all this stuff, and Soma is like being totally ticked off, because he's like, no, that's mine. I'm gonna be satisfying Erina's tongue. She's mine. And it was hilarious, because Erina is coming in. She's trying to find Soma. She's trying to stop him from meeting this guy, because his target, like, he is a target. And she's trying to find him, and she does find him, but she finds him just in time for Soma and this guy saying he's gonna marry Erina, and Soma saying, no, Erina and her tongue belong to me. I remember that line for sure. So, yeah, Erina and her tongue belong to me. Or did he say Nakiri? And he probably said Nakiri. Nakiri and her tongue belong to me. They're mine. And that's hilarious. Yeah, my internet dropped. I just see it. So my internet is gone right now. That's great. So, but yeah, he goes, Nakiri and her tongue belong to me. And Erina walks in just as this is being said. She hears one guy saying he wants to marry her, and another guy, the guy she knows, claiming that she is his, and so is her tongue, which is all kinds of, like, implied, whoa, what's he gonna do with her tongue? And, she freaks out. She's just like, wow, she's all blushy, she looks like she's gonna pass out, and Soma's like, bring this on, dude, like, let us fight. I'm not sure it's gonna be a Shokugeki, because Megumi said that that's kind of not a thing between teachers and students in Tutsuki. And before anyone says, oh, what about Shinomiya? He wasn't a teacher in Tutsuki. He was somebody who was coming in for from their Hell Camp arc. So, that technically, and also that was kind of like a secret thing, so she said on the record. Yeah. But I don't know if this is going to be a Shokugeki, and Soma can't win. Like, if he beats this guy who just beat his dad 5-0, that's ridiculous. So I don't know what's going to happen from this. If Soma doesn't win, and but Erina's not going to... So the guy was like, okay, well, I'm not going to, just, like, approach the situation like that. I'm not going to approach, Erina's, like, trying to woo her with, like, I'm going to just marry you because, you're the best, in the food taster, and, you're high up in the food world. He's like, I'm going to woo her properly, but, it's still stupid, because of course she's not going to be with this dude. She doesn't even know who he is. This is so weird. How old is he? She's still a student, and he's just gonna be proposing to her? It's so ridiculous. Like Megumi says, it's like a shoujo manga. It's like so weird. So, okay, let me see if internet. It is. It's back. Okay. Okay. So let me go to those pages that I wanted to talk about. Saiba Asahi may appear before us at any time. In fact, he may already. So that's when Erina runs after him. But so let me get this straight. So this is Soma speaking. He goes, so let me get this straight. What you want, Suzuki-sensei, is not the position of the first seat, but the right to say that you beat the first seat. And he goes, that's it. It's important for the second stage of my ambitions. And he goes, it annoys me that he could so casually say that he's going to beat me. And Megumi's like, next stage, a woman to whom I can offer all my cooking. And he goes, he who is capable of achieving the first seat of Tutsuki will, in a sense, be one of the most important people in the coming age of cooking. Not too unreasonable an assumption, no. And that's where Soma's blushing. And Megumi's like, someone's making this, that doesn't sound too bad, face. And then he goes, who then is the reigning woman in the world of cooking? And Soma's like, And his eyes are open. He realizes who he's talking about before he actually says it. Well, there's many ways of answering that question, but to me, she possesses the god tongue and is the scion of the Nakiri clan, Headmaster Erina. To obtain the ultimate woman, one must be the ultimate man. Makes sense, no? Huh? And obtain? I will take Nakiri Erina as my wife. And it's like, okay, dude, you believe that? All right, good for you. What? I mean, I'll court her a bit differently than that, but this is not, she's just a high schooler, she's going to be proposed to? This is like a shoujo manga plot. I mean, I'm not the one being proposed to, but indeed, Megumi, Headmaster Erina is the one woman worthy of receiving all my cooking. The only chef capable of satisfying her tongue in all the world is me, and this is where Soma got really pissed. He's just like, no. He's got like his blackout eyes. He's got his little angry mark on his face. And he goes, hold up just a minute. You've been spouting off some real crazy stuff. First, I take issue with the fact that you just assumed you're going to beat me. And if it's her tongue you're after, well, get in line, buddy. And he just running. It's so funny, though, that line. Get in line, buddy. Yukihira-kun, where are you? And then she spots him there. And she opens the door. She's trying to talk to him, and that's where she hears, I will be the one to take Nakiri Erina as my wife. And he says, Nakiri, and her tongue. And she's just like, and she's shocked and more shocked. And then Megumi notices her, and she goes, Nakiri-san. And she's just having a nervous breakdown. She's gonna pass out. She is completely flustered. She cannot believe what she just heard. And she's fallen back. And Megumi's like, Nakiri-san, fine by me. I accept Suzuki-sensei. If you claim to have a dish that can defeat me, let's have you show it then, here and now. So yeah, it is a fight for Erina Nakiri. So this is okay. So I'm first gonna say what is bad about this. The obvious. Again, it's very fanfiction-y. It's very heavy-handed. If we were gonna introduce romance at last, like that's the thing. We needed to have romance introduced. It was put in place at the very beginning, and then they just kind of tease it so sparingly throughout. And again, Erina doesn't have feelings for Soma yet, and Soma certainly doesn't have feelings for Erina yet. So it's like, well, we're so many chapters in. Well, someone has to give. There has to be some feeling, some point, you know. And we had that whole other arc. Erina melted a little bit, and they're now friends, but there's no romance. So when's that happening? Well, apparently now, finally. But the way it's done, the plot, it just seems so silly. It feels like somebody just decided, I'm going to write a very cliche love triangle. This guy who didn't exist before is now there. He's Saiba's other son, and he's this big deal. He just beat Saiba 5-1, and he's coming for Soma now, and he's gonna beat him too. And what he wants is Erina's hand in marriage, and now they're both fighting over her, and Soma doesn't know why. And it's just like, it's very, very fanfiction. And if you told me years ago that this would be a plot in this arc, in this series, I would just laugh because I'm like, there's no way. It's not that type of manga. It just seems very almost shoujo in drama than shonen. It's so I don't know. If I had a choice, this would be how I would do it. It doesn't feel organic like this, But I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's gonna happen, so I could be very wrong. But if I could have a choice, I would have done it. I would have done things this way. Now that being said, because it is so. That being said, Soma and Erina. Now on the outside of this, I guess the way it looks makes it seem like this is to push Soma's feelings forward because here's a rival in love kind of thing, even though Soma's not thinking about love, and that's the problem. That's why it's not. Soma's feelings aren't going to be pushed forward like that, in my opinion. That's why I said in the beginning that Soma being told that the Joe's advice, when he finally hears Joe's advice, and the whole "do you have a girlfriend" thing, those parts are important because this means that Soma can consider those things now in the future. That he now knows the secret, he now knows what he needs, and he has to consider who that is in his life. And that's how it's important to Soma. But Soma's not going to have feelings for Erina in this arc. I will be shocked if he does, because this is shonen, and shonen, the main character kind of stays oblivious till the very end. And if that's different here, because the author is kind of doing a weird thing, where he's doing a lot of twists that I didn't expect, but at the same time, there's such cliche twist that it's so weird. It's like it's predictable, but it's not. And because you would never think that he would do that. Like it just seems like very bad writing. So it's like, why would you go that route? Why would you ever go that route? And it's good for the ship. It's great for the ship, but it's not great for the story itself. Like you would want a better written development for anything, for any ship, for any character. So it's the heavy-handedness of it that's bad. But I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt because again, the ship. I like Soma and Erina. I love them. It's pretty much why I'm still reading the story. If they weren't there, I would stop because the plot has gone downhill, and I hate that. I hate that that's the case. I mean, I want to read a well-written story and not just read it for a ship, because the ship usually isn't what's important in the story. So then when it's not important, you're kind of left with like, oh, why am I still reading it? And then you remember, then things like this happen, and you're like, oh, that's right. Oh, right, the ship. So if Soma's not going to have feelings for Erina, then what is this arc for? What's going to happen here? Erina's going to have feelings for Soma. Like now, the idea of romance and cooking for someone, and that being the key to being a better chef. This is something Erina needs to learn too. This is something she needs to hear, and she also needs to consider Soma in a more romantic light. She's never considered romance. Well, she has considered it in that special, but it never went anywhere. She was just she brushed it off at the end because she just didn't get it, and now she will get it, I think. And Soma saying that she's his is hilarious, but also that's the other thing. That's the other thing that's important about as far as Soma's development in this arc. It's not romantic, but it's the implications that the author is making, and certainly the implications that Soma himself is jumping into, that are important in this arc, because he's claiming Erina, and even if it's just in the manner of he needs her for her tasting abilities, and that's what he wants, and he wants to impress her, and he wants to be the one who impresses her the most, it doesn't matter, because what does he care what this dude wants to do with Erina, outside that? Like, who cares? Like, him wanting to take her as his wife and all that, and take her away as his wife, because, well, he didn't even say take her away, he just says he wants her as his wife, and Soma's claiming ownership of her, And that doesn't make any sense, because even if she gets married, he can still get her to taste things for him. He could still end up impressing her more than this dude. So he doesn't need to claim ownership of her. He doesn't need to be so possessive, but he is. And that's the implication. That's the important thing to take away as far as Soma's part in all of this. He's being possessive of Erina, and he doesn't even realize exactly why and how that's coming off, and he doesn't need to be, but he's being. It's bothering him. This guy who wants to marry Erina is bothering him, and he doesn't fully understand probably why it really, really bothers him. And but yeah, that's the thing. That's the issue here. That's the good thing about this, is that he's being put in a position to fight for Erina, and he doesn't need to be fighting for her, but he is, because it's a pride thing, but it's also that she's his, and he's already marked her as his, and that's weird. Like, if it's not romantic, what are you doing? Because it will be romantic. That's the point. That it will absolutely be romantic. He sees Erina as something that belongs to him, and sees her like tasting things. Her opinion is so important to him, and it shouldn't be. There's no reason. Soma's just not like that kind of character. Like, yeah, she's the god's tongue, but so what? He knows. That's the other thing. He already knows she lied. He said it already in the other arc. He said that, she wasn't truthful with when she gave him that test at the opening, at the entrance exam. He knows that she actually did like his food, and he knows that she liked it when she tasted it when she was going through all that Azami stuff, and when she tasted it in his room. He knows she liked it. He was expecting her to say it. He wanted her to say it, but he could tell that she liked it. It was so clear. So yeah, he knows she's a liar, and because he knows she's a liar, I don't understand why he feels the need to get her to admit it. But he does, because he really, 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 really wants her to say it. He wants to hear it from her mouth. So that's the thing. That's why it's romantic. Why it will eventually be romantic from Soma's side, because she's already the person he's cooking for, and he just doesn't realize it yet in that way. So that's the whole thing. That's what all of this is. It's to introduce the reasoning behind why he's acting the way he is, and to make him realize eventually that the person he wants to give all his food to, the person who's improving him, and we saw that even in the last arc when he made the dish he did, thanks to Erina tasting everything. The reason he's improving so much, and I said this in my other video too, the reason she's the one pushing him forward. She's the reason why he's going to be the amazing chef he is eventually, because he's cooking for her. He's cooking to please her. He's cooking to get her to say his food is good. Like, it's so obvious. It's completely there. It's written. It's there. And this arc just pushes it even more so. And it's great, but the way it's being done isn't great. But it's just funny. It's just really amusing. When I saw this chapter and the spoilers for it, I was just like, wow, are we seriously going here? Because it's so funny. But yeah, I'm rambling a lot right now, but it's just because I'm actually really happy. I think that this is, I didn't really expect things to go like this, because it's just so much. And Erina having feelings for Soma, I think, will happen here, because she's now being put in a position to consider Soma romantically, because he's saying that she's his. And even if that's not what he means, it doesn't matter, because if he doesn't mean it romantically, because she's still considering it, she's still seeing that this guy's fighting for her, and she's gonna have to sit there and think, oh, why is this guy fighting for me, and he's saying that I'm his, and this other guy's saying he wants to marry me, and if Soma loses, which he should lose, but if Soma loses, it's like okay, now what? I lost, so is he going to, what happens then? Obviously, the guy isn't going to get Erina's hand in marriage, but it's going to make Soma so mad, because this guy said he's the one who's going to get her, that only his cooking can please Erina, and if he loses, if Soma loses to this guy, that's going to make him really frustrated because he's right, apparently, because if he's better than him. But Erina needs to stick up for herself because she's not gonna, she can't say yes. She's not just gonna say yes to this guy marrying her. It's so stupid. She honestly, it would be cool if she beat him too. But she's not gonna do that. They're not gonna have her match against him, but she's gonna have to put her foot down at some point and go, this is ridiculous, and I'm not marrying anybody, and you need to stop, dude. You need to get out of here. I don't know what you're doing, and leave my first seat alone. He's stressed right now. But I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the result of this is. Again, Soma, realistically should not beat this dude. But then again, they shouldn't have beat the top two in the school. So I don't know what will happen. And I don't know how. I don't know exactly if Erina's already being triggered to think of Soma romantically because of what she just heard. And I don't know how she's going to react after this, and I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen. I just know that Erina's probably going to be having romantic feelings for Soma, and that's what this arc is actually about. And it's setting up for down the line as well. When I did my last video, I can't remember if they had talked about Soma's mom. I don't think they did, because there was a chapter where Soma was talking about how, because Azami said basically that Joe kind of got so stressed from trying to constantly top himself and nobody appreciated him, and that's why he's doing everything he was doing, is because he doesn't want that to be the case for chefs anymore. And he doesn't want anybody to go through what Joe went through. And Soma's like, listen, I don't know about everything that happened beforehand, but my dad met my mom, and that's, he was really happy, So he mentioned his mom, okay, and that's the person Joe was talking about when he said meet someone where, you want to give you all your cooking to. And I think, and Soma kind of had a very serious, kind of somber expression, which we don't see often from him when he was talking about his mom. And the only person who reacted, the only panel reaction we got to Soma mentioning the mom was Erina. And that is very important, in my opinion, because Erina will probably have to do with that mom. Like, she will have something to do with whatever the mom plot will be when it comes up. And that is huge. And that might be Soma. That might be the start of Soma's romance. Like feelings towards Erina. Truly, because obviously Soma's mom is super important to him, and we don't know what happened to her. I mean, she's dead, apparently, according to the author, but we haven't really had any information about that in the actual manga. So I think that's what's going to bring Soma's feelings out for Erina. Like, maybe she's going to help him the way he helped her through her dad's stuff, and that would be great. I would love that. That would be fantastic. But I don't know about this arc. I really don't know about this current arc. I feel like it could go very badly. It's already kind of bad. As far as the plot goes, it's super cliche and silly that someone just wants to come and marry Erina. It's so funny because I actually thought maybe she would have been like, if there was such a plot in this manga, which seemed unlikely, and yet here we are, I thought Erina was we were going to find out she was, like, betrothed to someone already, because she's from such a wealthy, very powerful family, so it's not unheard of that she would already have, like, her family would have set her up with someone to marry, based just on family, some other family. Because, it makes sense that she would have, like, that could have happened. You know what I mean? That would still be really cliche. That and maybe this guy she betrothed to would come to the school, and she didn't even know she was engaged already to be married off to somebody. But it seemed like her grandfather wouldn't do something like that to her. But you never know. I mean, look at what's happening right now. So, and he did just drop this whole school on her shoulder, so that's pretty shitty. So why not someone, like, have, to have made a arranged marriage for her. Not out of the realm of possibility. Hell, it could still happen after this. Jeez, anything's on the table. And nothing is, is too ridiculous at this point to actually happen in this story. So, but yeah, I thought that might happen. Maybe. And then Soma and this guy would be rivals because of that. And for the same kind of reasons that's going on right now, that, oh, I'm better than you, and I'm the one who's going to satisfy it. I mean, they're both ridiculous plot devices. So yeah, anyway, that's basically my opinion on this arc. Erina's going to have feelings for Soma. Soma will eventually have feelings for Erina. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Megumi, because Megumi just had an arc, kind of like a mini arc, and she needed that. She needed that very badly because she didn't really shine much in the previous arc. Like, not that Erina stole her spotlight, but more so they tried to use Erina to highlight Megumi, which was great. I actually really liked that because that was really sweet, that Erina made a dish based on what Megumi made, and it was even named after her, and she was inspired by her. She was trying to show how great of an idea Megumi actually had, and she just couldn't bring it out to its full potential right now. But that doesn't mean that she's, not a great chef. She obviously is. But the point is, she's now one of the elite 10. She's the 10th seat. She has the same seat Erina, vacated, and she, traveled around a lot, and she became way better in her specialty, and which is hospitality. And she just seemed very calm, and it was really cute, and she was very, it was, really badass at the same time. She was like, I'm going to show you what actual hospitality is. And see, that's the thing, I really like Megumi. Again, I find her kind of dull, especially compared to, the interactions Erina and Soma have. But here's the thing. Okay, so I forgot. When I made my last video, I kept saying that Megumi seemed to be the only one in this supposed love triangle of Soma and Erina and Megumi, which doesn't really exist. But Megumi, supposedly the author had brushed off the idea of Megumi already having feelings for Soma because he called them admiration. I can't remember where he said it. I think in a convention. But he said that she just admires him at that point, and that's what that was. But now she's dreaming of him in a very shoujo-y way, and he was obishi. So that contradicts the situation of her just being, just admiring Soma. That doesn't seem like admiration to me. So I don't know where the author is going with that, because as soon as that happened and we had the little mini arc of them in the hot springs and stuff, the onsen, and I was just kind of like, that's great for Megumi and her character, but I don't want harem hijinks. I don't want them. Stop. Don't do that, because you're gonna piss a lot of people off. Whether you go with Megumi or you go with Erina, you're gonna have a large chunk that is mad that you led them on so badly. And I mean, they do that regardless. I mean, plenty of shonens like playing that card, and certainly the harem ones do, and they don't care about pissing people off because they just want, they'll have you till the end. You know what I mean? You'll keep reading until you find out who exactly is going to win. And in this case, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, maybe he's going to be playing this again. He's going to be playing it up again because he thinks it's too obviously one-sided, and I don't know, it could come back. I mean, it was there for a second with Megumi, and now we're back into Erina again, which I'm thrilled about. I'm very happy. But I'm just saying, just be wary here, because you never know that he might pull him. But I still think it's completely obvious he's going to end up with Erina, because it doesn't make sense. I think it would be even worse writing, right, at this point if he got with Megumi, because it's been so set up for Erina that it'd be, why would we even be having this plot, and why would we have had the other plot if it wasn't this case? I don't know. That's me. I just think it makes more sense with Erina, and especially the dedicating all your food to somebody because Soma's already doing it. He just doesn't realize it. So, and that's Erina. So I just like it. I just like that. I like that part. I just don't like how it's being done and being handled. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know. Anyway, I'm talking for an hour, so I'm gonna be ending this now. But yeah, it's silly plot. It's heavy-handed, but the ship is moving ahead. We're gonna get Erina feelings almost definitely, and Soma's feelings are being set up in this arc. So we'll have a wait. We're not gonna get his until the end, and I think that's gonna come with a mom plot. And I think the mom plot won't come until after maybe they're gonna have the blue thing, and then maybe we'll get mom, or I don't know. It depends how long the series is gonna go. It's just how long they can keep people's attention. Yeah. Anyway, that was my second Erina and Soma video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens now, because oh my god, this is so funny. It's hilarious. So yeah.